Hello Year 7, today we're looking at right and straight angles. So there's a couple of things that we need to know about. The first one is adjacent angles. So I need you to write the word adjacent in here. Adjacent angles are two angles that are side by side and they share a vertex and an arm. Okay, so you could draw a diagram of that to help you understand that. Here is my common vertex and my common arm, and I could have one angle coming up above and another, doesn't have to be the same size, but another angle coming down below. So those two angles would be called adjacent. Now, more specifically today, if we have two adjacent angles that sum to 90 degrees, we call that complementary. So there's not really a space to write that, but it's important to know that word. So you can just write it at the end here. So two adjacent angles that sum to 90 degrees are called complementary. So you can see that in the diagram down below here. So we have a right angle, and you can see that the two angles inside here, A and B, both of those angles together make up that right angle. So that means that A plus B would be equal to 90 degrees. So that's one special type of adjacent angles where they add to give 90 degrees. A second type is two adjacent angles that add to 180 degrees. We call those supplementary. Okay, so 180 degrees is a straight line like the one that you can see down here. So you can see that that straight line has been cut into two angles up here. Again, A and B. Those two angles together this time make 180 degrees. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be solving problems that involve angles that add to give 90 degrees and angles that add to give 180 degrees. So here is some examples here. So it says calculate the size of the missing angle, and the other thing that we need to start getting into habit of doing is to always give reasons. Okay, so this is a topic of geometry, and geometry is very important that we give reasons. So for part A here, you can see that I have a right angle. That means that those two angles together have to add to give 90 degrees. So to show my working out, which you all must do, I will add those two angles together. So the first angle is A, and then I want to add the second angle, which is 35. And those two angles equal 90 degrees. Now, the reason that I want you to write, we always write the reason in brackets. And there's always two parts to every reason that you write down. The first part of the reason is the name of the type of angle or the type of problem that you've been given. So in this case, we're talking about a problem that involves a right angle. So that's the first part, right angle. And we can shorten writing of that. Instead of writing the word angle, I can write that sloping L symbol, which is the angle symbol. Okay, so that's the first part. The name of this diagram is a right angle. Now, the second part of the reason is I want to know what that means for this question. So because that is a right angle, I know that those angles are equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so try to remember that there's always two parts, the name and what that means. And there will be marks allocated to this on your test, so it is very important that you get into the habit of writing these reasons down properly. Okay, so once we have our little word problem down here, our A plus 35 equals 90, our equation, and we have our reason written down, we now want to solve that to find out what A is equal to. Now, if A plus 35 is equal to 90, what I really need to do is to subtract that 35 away from the 90 so that I know that's what just the A part is. Now, some of you will be able to do those kind of subtractions in your head, and that is wonderful. If you need to, please take a scrap piece of paper or just on the side of the paper, and you can do the subtraction like this. So you could go 90 and you want to take away the 35. Okay, you could borrow from the 9 to get 1 over here. 10 take away 5 is 5, and 8 take away 3 is also 5. Okay, so that would give me the answer that A is equal to 55 degrees. Okay, let's try the second one, part B. Those two angles there are making up a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So my equation for this one will be that the angle A plus the 55 is equal to 180 degrees. The reason, the type of question that I have is that it's a straight angle. So shortening that with the angle symbol. Straight angles, and then what does that mean? Straight angles are equal to 180 degrees. Okay, now I need to find out what the A would be equal to. So to do that, all I want to do is subtract that 55 from the 180. So again, some of you could do that in your head. Some of you may want to do the calculation on a piece of paper. So 0 minus 5 I can't do. Borrow from the 8. 10 take away 5 is 5. 7 take away 5 is 2. 1 take away nothing is 1. So that gives me the answer that A equals 125 degrees.